It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, AM 1250. He is Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minix. Tweeted out a little while ago, TV in the studio here is on mute, so I have no idea what he was saying, but man, Marcus Spears was fired up. Marcus Spears joining us now on the Blitz. I'm fired up that this is going to be a weekly thing every Monday at 4:30. Marcus, man, you are fired up on TV.
Yeah, fellas, this week 1, man. You know, we all got juice. Find me like week 15 and see how I'm feeling then. But nah, man, I love my job. Excited to be doing what I'm doing. And I had a couple things that I needed to get off my chest. That's what I use TV for.
Well, you know, Marcus, you were talking about the Rams-Bills game, I think. What were you so upset about?
Well, it was actually a correlation about the Cowboys. Because, you know, everything comes back to Dallas. But I was just talking about teams that if you compare what we've done, and when I say we, when I'm in fan mode for the Cowboys, if you compare what the Cowboys have done to teams that are contenders or legitimate contenders or even giving us the thought that they're contenders, their action in free agency, the type of players that they're bringing in is an example of that. And we sit every year idly by during free agency, and we talk about the salary cap and what we can't do, and everybody else out here functioning in the NFL like there's this endless amount of money to try to go after Super Bowls. And what I was correlating it was the Rams went to a Super Bowl with a quarterback, and they didn't feel like he was good enough to win it, so they went out and traded for another one. They traded for Jalen Ramsey back when he wanted out of Jacksonville. They traded for Von Miller just to win a Super Bowl, guys. Not anything long term, just to try to win a championship. Traded for Andrew Whitworth when he left Cincinnati, or signed him when he was a free agent. That was the correlation between the Rams. If you look at what the Bills did, the Bills said, "Hey, man, we were 13 seconds away from going to the AFC Championship. Let's go sign Von Miller, give him $100 million. We already have a $250 million quarterback. Let's go get Stephon Diggs. Let's pay him when we get him, and then let's pay him again because he's good." They drafted Tre'Davious White. He played well. They paid him. Teams that are actually in these conversations, the Los Angeles Chargers, they go out this year and sign J.C. Jackson, the top 5 corner in the league. They get Khalil Mack. They signed Sebastian Joseph Day from the Los Angeles Rams to shore up the run game where they were weak at last year. They got a stud in Justin Herbert, but they lock up his receiver Mike Williams. They like if anybody can tell me, and I give Dallas credit, they've hit on the draft, and there was some unfortunate stuff with the offensive line with Travis and obviously Tyron being hurt. Lyle Collins walked out of the door, but I know that was a tumultuous relationship throughout. But ultimately, I'm sick and tired of every year that I've been doing this job, the Super Bowl contenders and, you know, the Dallas Cowboys got a chance to win. No, we don't. We don't operate like that. We don't operate with championship mentality. I'll tell you when we did. We did when I was there, even though we didn't get it done, we took a shot at it. We operated when we went and signed Terrell Owens, when we signed Ken Hamlin, when we signed Leonard Davis, when we went to the playoffs and we lost. But we went, and everybody felt like we had a good enough team to win it. It doesn't guarantee you anything, but it damn sure show people that you're trying to win one. And after this offseason, and after the injuries that happened, and all of the things that happened throughout training camp with wide receivers, we talked about, well, you know, they'll be fine. Dak will overcome it. You know, you ain't going to overcome no offensive line in the NFL. You ain't going to overcome not having anybody to throw the football to in the NFL. Not if you're trying to win championships. Now, if you're trying to appease your mind, if you're trying to get people to believe that you're going to do something magical that doesn't happen anymore in the NFL and they'll fall for it, cool. You can do that. And you can win 12 games, but we all know that there was flaws in that. You can be mediocre at times and people will go up and down. But, you know, I tell people all the time, I'm going to ride the roller coaster. But Dallas ain't doing nothing to win no Super Bowl. And they need to stop lying to the fan base. And the fan base need to own up to that. And I need to own up to that as well when I'm in fan mode. But I see it, and people get mad when I say it. But I did an interview a few years ago, asked me, was Dallas going to win a Super Bowl next? No, they not. because Jerry's not going to spend money. He's not going to go out and try to get a deal. He's not going to do the hard deals, guys. The Las Vegas Raiders, obviously, Devontae loved playing with the ball, but they had to do it to get him away from Green Bay. They had to commit to that. So it's just the Rams had to commit to getting Odell Beckham Jr. In order to go win a Super Bowl. Y'all tell me the last time we had a move like that in Dallas that makes you believe that beyond the draft, because you need to do more than just draft guys in today's NFL to win Super Bowls. What move has been made to make any of us believe that that's the ultimate goal?
You know, you're singing to the choir. Marcus Spears joining us here on the Blitz, as he will every Monday starting today, and it's going to be gold because, I mean, last night, that game averaged 25.1 million viewers, the largest audience for NBC Sunday night opener since 2015. And despite everything that happened last night, I know Jerry was happy when he saw those numbers this morning. That was probably the first thing he looked for what were the ratings last night, how many people watched, and isn't that part of the problem?
That's a huge part of the problem because, and I've always said this, and I'm starting to not believe it anymore. I've always said the one thing that I can hold on to when I was playing with the Cowboys is that Jerry wants to win. And when I said wants to win, I meant wanted to win Super Bowls, wanted to try to win championships. And fellas, you know, it's easy to say that, but what are you doing? And nothing has happened in that regard to try to go win a Super Bowl. We could fool ourselves into thinking that. We could make ourselves feel good. We could talk to the fan base and through the media. So that's what I was talking about today. I said, everybody, you know, the stadium is phenomenal and it's flawless and everybody has a good time. And, you know, I joke with Stephen A. And Stephen A., he acknowledged, I'm realistic when it comes to the Cowboys. I enjoy when they playing well because I'm a fan. I want to see them do well. But also, I tell the truth about this team. And, you know, last year, good season, won 12 games. We all knew how flawed the offense was. We knew that the turnovers for the defense was the best thing going, and that was a big reason why we were in that position. And all of that came to a head in the Super Bowl. So when you guys and the rest of America hear Stephen A. say, just wait, we all know it's coming. We're not shocked. We want to have a visceral reaction because Stephen A. hates on the Cowboys and other people talk about the Cowboys don't win. We know it's coming. And it's time for us to start acknowledging that as fans and as a media member when I'm being an analyst and I'm doing my job. I know the Cowboys not winning a Super Bowl. I knew they wasn't going to win one last year. I knew they wasn't going to win one the year before that. They wasn't going to win one the year before that.
You know, Marcus, when you look at Cowboy fans, and all of us are, and most of the folks that listen to this station are, it's a very optimistic fan base, as you have alluded to. And Jerry Jones will always put out that optimistic statement. But I saw something last night that I haven't seen from Dallas Cowboy fans, and that was booing Dak Prescott. What do you make of that? And was it deserved on his part?
Well, Dak played bad. And, you know, in the year 2022, he played bad before the injury. And I know, you know, people are sensitive about that because he hurt, but he was playing terrible before that. You guys know I don't care about that. The film is the film.
Mm-hmm.
But also I just want to remind fans, and I've said this about Dak, I said this in the offseason, how much do you want him to overcome? Like, at what point do we start looking at that the dude hand is broke because of our offensive line getting bullied back towards him? 2 plays in a row, Shaq Barrett was in his throwing range because the offensive line couldn't keep him off of it. That's a part of it. You look at his throwing, he was inaccurate last night. But also, guys, was it breaking news that the Dallas Cowboys didn't have any receivers going into that game?
No.
Was I on another planet when that was, you know? Like, I know everybody loves CeeDee Lamb and he wears 88. We don't know if he's going to be a number 1 receiver yet. We ain't seen him do it. I think he has the ability to, but we haven't seen him do it. But regardless of all of that, you know, like you said, optimistic. Jerry, we went to the Cow. I did First Take when we were in Frisco when we came to that, and Jerry said this offense is going to go as Zeke goes. Guys, what if the offense gonna go as Zeke goes, and you can run your way to a Super Bowl, Derrick Henry will have 3. The Indianapolis Colts would have won one last year with the best running back. You got to be able to throw the ball. You got to have weapons on the outside, which is why people are breaking the bank, and why Miami paid Tyreek Hill that type of money, because that's what you have to have. Could you imagine Zeke? I mean, could you imagine as they booed Dak Prescott? Could you imagine Dak Prescott with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Mike Gesicki?
Wow.
And could you imagine that? So before, like, look, I'm going to give Dak the flack when he deserves it. And he deserved it last night because he was back. He threw an interception in zone coverage, which was horrible, which was a poor throw. But quarterbacks do that when they pressing, and they know that they have to be everything in order for this thing to work. Like, yeah, he played bad. You boo him if you want to, but please acknowledge all of the other stuff that's going on around.
No, absolutely. I mean, and, he's got Dennis Houston and Noah Brown out there, and I'm curious, Marcus. I mean, you're a defensive guy. When you're watching the Cowboys offense, the play calling, the system, the rhythm, at one point, Kellen Moore was the next shiny toy that's going to be the next head coach, and it's just mediocre more at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very mediocre. And even last year, like, this is a conversation coming out of the game last night. Tony Pollard can't pass protect. Tony Pollard couldn't pass protect last year. Like, so, but when you get Tony Pollard the ball in space, he's one of the best players with the ball in his hand in the NFL. So guess what, fellas? Put him in space. Don't ask him to do what he doesn't do well. That's coaching. Like, I was on Kellen Moore about the playoff game. I was on him leading into the playoffs when the offense started to tail off. And everybody tout this, well, they had the number 1 offense in the league, and they did all of this and all of that. Man, listen, it don't matter if you ain't going to do it when it's time to do it. And, it's just funny to me, man, how I'm just pissed off because I know how much Dallas Cowboys fans care about this team and how bad they want this team to win and how much they invest in this team. Like, I see it. I hear it. They get mad at me when I say something negative. Some people be mad about today, but y'all know I don't give a damn. Next Monday.
That's why we have you on every week. That's why we wanted to have you on every week.
Yeah. But ultimately, fellas, you cannot continue to sell this false that this team is in position to win a Super Bowl. You can't sell it. It's not. The roster is not. You got a player that I think is going to be great for years to come in Micah Parsons. I think Dak is a really good quarterback, but Dak is not going to be the type of quarterback to lift you beyond the faults of the Dallas Cowboys right now. I will acknowledge there was some things that happened within this offensive line with Travis Frederick, obviously, and Tyron not being able to stay healthy. But that unit suffered from a lot of different things. But ultimately, guys, like, I think my frustration lies in this, okay? Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, everybody in that organization knew that week 1 of this NFL season that team wasn't good enough to win a Super Bowl.
Wow.
Everybody knew that.
Yeah, you're right. And it is very disappointing. And we've heard from a lot of Cowboy fans today, just as pissed off as you are. Trust me. I got to ask you this, Marcus, before we let you go. I didn't know this, and maybe I should know this, but how did you get the nickname Swagu?
My man, Joe Tessitore. So when I started at ESPN, I was working with SEC Network, which was covering the Southeastern Conference. And Joe Tess, who is, one of the great announcers, did Monday Night Football, big voice in boxing, still does one of the premier games with ESPN, college football. He liked my suits. He liked the way I dress. So he said, man, you're dripping Swagu, man. Like, and Joe is Italian. So he was like, I'm going to call you the Big Swagu. So he coined that, man, and everybody started calling me it. And now I've embraced it because more people call me Swagu now in public than my own name. Half the people probably don't even know my real name.
Hey, man, it works.
Yeah,
it works.
Does. Yeah, it works, man.
It works, man. And I know you're a hard-working man on ESPN. You just got off the TV set, and you got more to do with Monday Night Football every Monday at 4:30. This is going to be a blast, Wagyu. Hopefully, though, the conversations aren't after an embarrassing loss where the offense can't even get into the red zone.
I know it, man. I know it. Just hang in there, fellas. Like I tell everybody, and I'm going to tell the Cowboy fans that's listening right now, just ride the roller coaster, enjoy when we're going up. But the drop is coming. We just hope we don't drop off the earth.
There you go. Swagu, Marcus Spears, appreciate it, man. We'll talk to you next Monday.
Jay, Joe, appreciate y'all, man. Y'all take care. I'll talk to y'all next week.
Absolutely. Marcus Spears every Monday at 4:30.